Yo, what is going on YouTube? Today I got a pretty interesting story time to talk about today. As you guys can probably tell by the title, not too long ago, one of my old homies ended up confessing some pretty weird and sad shit. And this homie who I'll be talking about today, I'll refer to as Daniel throughout the video. Daniel was someone I've known for, I would say, a pretty long time. I remember meeting Daniel, I think my sophomore year of high school. And Daniel is the type of person who, honestly, your parents would warn you not to hang out with and avoid at all costs. Just one of the worst influences you could ever ask for, but pretty much this guy was insane. He's always done pretty questionable stuff throughout my entire time of knowing him. And also he would do pretty much any substance that would get him close to passing out or pass out. I remember this guy took nitrous when it was super popular at the time and ended up passing out in a pile of his own vomit, which is actually insane. And to paint you guys a little picture before I ended up getting to when he confessed this crazy stuff, is I would say a year ago, it was one of my friend's birthdays, and we ended up throwing a party for him at Daniel's house. And honestly, Daniel's house was like the nightmare like trip house, bro. This literally was a trap house. It was actually insane. Just clothes lining the walls all the way up to his room. It was just absolutely disgusting. And I remember I'd worked that day, so I pulled up pretty late. Everybody was already pretty geeked and stuff like that. So I ended up going up to his room, dapping up the homies. And there was this girl and Daniel sitting on his bed. They both were next to each other. And I'll refer to this girl as Sydney throughout the video. I've never seen Sydney before in my life. So I asked the homies, I'm like, yo, who's this chick that's sitting next to Daniel? Is that his new girl or something? Because recently he broke up with his girlfriend. So I was like, okay. And this girl, Sydney, looked so young, which is actually crazy. And I remember throughout the night, they were talking with each other and stuff. And I was like, it's pretty odd. I've never seen this girl before. Because as a group, we all hung out pretty good amount of times. And we ended up chilling, having a nice little sesh, talking. And as the night progressed, it low-key turned to a nightmare. I remember everybody's throwing up. Everybody was just absolutely in shambles, bro. My homie whose birthday it was in the bathroom for like 2 hours, so I was there for. I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna leave, bro. And honestly, as the weeks went on, Daniel and Sydney were hanging out pretty much almost every day. Anytime we hung out as a group, she was always there, which I thought was really odd, as honestly nobody really liked her. And especially just the influence that she had on this man was actually crazy. She would pretty much buy this guy anything he wanted. She would buy him Ubers. This guy was unemployed, and this like young looking ass girl was buying him anything he wanted, which is actually crazy. And honestly, just as like time went by, just we could see just how his just health deteriorated and just how like this girl was draining this guy, and she would buy him whippets, she would buy him anything. And when he ended up confessing something to us, I think it was 5 months ago, New Year's Eve. My homie throws an annual New Year's party, and I remember getting off work and I pulled up a little late. This was also like another nightmare party. I remember pulling up, all the homies were just absolutely wasted. One of my homies almost fell into a fire pit, and just everybody was just yakking. It was absolutely just a nightmare. And so everybody outside's tweaking. So I end up going into my homie's garage. Just everybody chilling in there. It's hella calm. I remember Daniel sitting there, and he looked absolutely just cracked out. And surprisingly, Sydney was not there that day. But I go dap up one of my homies who threw the party, and it's like, yo, Daniel just took hella Molly in the bathroom. I was like, yo, what the hell? Like, I could see he was like absolutely tweaking off that shit. And I'm pretty familiar with how Molly works and stuff like that. So he was honestly really friendly that day. But just as the night went on, he was pretty quiet, which is pretty unusual. But we ended up pressing him why he hangs out with this girl, Sydney, so much. And this guy just starts deflecting and deflecting and deflecting everything. Like, yo, what is going on with you two? What's up with that? And he just talks about how she buys him stuff, and that's why he always hangs out with her, this and that. They're like, yo, are you guys like fucking with each other and stuff like that? Like, how old is she, bro? So apparently this girl is 13 going on 14, I think. and Daniel is 18 going on 19, which is absolutely crazy. Like, why are you hanging out with this freshman when you're a graduated, almost a graduated senior? And pretty much we ended up just absolutely just railing this guy with questions, pressing him hella hard. Like, what is going on? You look like shit, dude. You just look horrible. This girl absolutely has you in a chokehold. And pretty much this girl was cheating on her boyfriend with Daniel. And for some reason, Daniel did not have a problem with this. He instantly started deflecting, talking about some, I don't know where you guys are and if this law is even, I don't even know, but it's called Romeo and Juliet, some law like that. And he just starts rambling on about this law. If you know this person for this long, this and that, it's all fine. It's all fine. This and that. I'm like, dude, what? You're telling me you're with a 13-year-old, bro, and you're almost graduated, bro. Like, what is going on? And pretty much we just press this guy until we force him to just spill everything. And pretty much this has been going on since the beginning, since we first saw them, which is actually crazy. Like, I've known this guy for so long, and it's honestly one of the most sad stuff I've ever heard in my life. And pretty much his best friend at the time starts pressing him, saying like, yo, I'm gonna beat your ass if you don't block this girl. She's so bad for you. She's just ruining your life. And honestly, she was. She really, like, you could see it put such a toll on him, how much he was just abusing substances. And honestly, I don't think we would have ever got this information out of him unless he wasn't on Molly, bro. That was like a true serum, bro. And pretty much this guy just kept deflecting. He kept talking about Romeo and Juliet laws. He's like, nah, she's chill, she's chill. And then his best friend ended up saying that he was gonna get his stepdad to beat his ass if he didn't block this girl. And so throughout the night, Sydney actually ended up texting him saying, I'll Uber you to my crib right now. I'll Uber you to my crib right now. And we're all like, do not go right now or else we're dropping you instantly. And honestly, we were going to drop him anyway, but we were just trying to get this guy to stay here to not make another mistake. Like, honestly. And this guy, he's usually pretty shut off. So honestly, the Molly just made him like, it was literally like a lie detector. And as we kept pressing him more and more, we figured out just more information and just how bad this girl literally was for him. Like, she's cheated on multiple people, and just the amount of like whippets and just like substance she was doing was horrible. And this girl's like barely even 14. And as the night went on, he did end up blocking her. And my friend who was outside, who we knew would have beat his ass if he heard this, which is so funny. We got him in here, we told him all about it, and he would, bro, everybody just got so pressed, like, why are you doing this? You're literally a pedo, bro. And pretty much, we all pressed him, and he ended up leaving. And we thought he ended up going to that girl's house, but I guess he didn't, as I know. But we ended up dropping him that same day. Honestly, haven't talked to him since this instance. And honestly, the things I've heard, it seems like he's doing a little bit better since she's gone. But also just, I don't know, this guy, just his life seems horrible. I think last thing I heard what happened to him was him and his dad were drunk and they were driving home and he ended up punching his dad and they got into a fist fight in the car. And then he got kicked out of his out of his crib. And now he's living with his cousin, like his grandma's house, which is crazy. But honestly, I hope the best for this guy. And I hope you guys also learn from this. Not talk to people your own age. Don't do any weird shit like this. Be responsible, bro. And also, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Like and subscribe if you want to hear more for this. Peace.